What happens when you use a face wash twice to double cleanse? Let's find out. Y'all know I am a huge fan of the practice of double cleansing. It's something I implemented in my skincare routine over 7 years ago at this point. My gosh, time flies. If you're not familiar with double cleansing, it is the practice of using an oil-based cleanser like a cleansing oil or a cleansing balm as a first step in your skincare routine to break up the film of like makeup, water-resistant sunscreen. These products have emulsifiers in them. So after you spread it all over your face, start breaking up that film, you add a little bit of water and the product will emulsify. You'll get a creamy lather at that point and the product will then rinse off. The second step involves using a traditional face wash that you then use to like properly wash your face. And if you guys know my routine, I do the first step at nighttime before I get in the shower, and then the second step I actually do in the shower. So you do the oil cleansing step outside of the shower, and I do the actual face washing in the shower. And this has worked out really well for me for all of this time, and there are many anecdotal reports of skin benefit from doing this, myself included. I'll tell you the biggest difference that I have seen in doing this is when it comes to my lashes. I find that using the oil cleansing method has just been a lot gentler on my lashes and may also be helping to condition them at the same time when it comes to removing mascara. And I've noticed that my lashes are longer, I'm getting less lash breakage. It's really been a good thing in my opinion for my lashes. I always get all of these questions like, is it safe to oil cleanse if you have dry skin, acne prone skin, combination skin, oily skin? Is it necessary? Do I need to do the oil cleansing if I'm wearing this type of sunscreen? And the answer is, we don't really know because this isn't something that is heavily researched. There is one small study that looks at using an oil cleanser and shows is promising for being a perhaps more efficient method for removing water-resistant sunscreen. But that's pretty much it when it comes to research on oil cleansers. You kind of have to navigate the aisles yourself and, figure out what works for you. There's nothing specific about double cleansing that is directly contraindicated for anyone. And remember, the oily cleanser has emulsifiers, so it should rinse off the skin and should not aggravate any underlying skin condition unless, of course, you're allergic to something in the formula. But a lot of people will come to me and say, can't I just use my face wash twice? I'll say, yeah, you can try that. My personal experience in washing my face for decades and decades is that when it comes to mascara in particular, if I use a face wash alone and I don't do the oil cleansing step, 9 times out of 10, when I get out of the shower, I have a lot of mascara residue under my eyes, raccoon eyes. That's something that oil cleansing has eliminated for me. But I wanted to test out the approach of double cleansing with just a face wash. So I put it to the test with CeraVe's Oil to Foam Facial Cleanser. Now, this is kind of cheating because this particular face wash I've talked about on here before. It's one of the few that I have found does not lead to raccoon eyes. So I went in with a cleanser that, in my experience, and I've used it for a while now, off and on, has a good track record for being efficient at removing cosmetic residue on the skin surface. So that's why I chose it. Now, disclosure, I have worked with CeraVe over the years on sponsored content, including for this face wash, but this is not sponsored, and I originally bought the cleanser myself long ago to test out for the first time, and only after liking it and falling in love with it did I ever agree to do any paid promotion with the product. And again, this is not sponsored. Anyway, so I decided to use this one because, A, it had a good track record of efficiently removing cosmetic residue for me, and B, that's the face wash I'm actually using now as, like the second step in my skincare routine typically. So here's how it went. I tried smearing it all over my face as if it were an oil, and you can see it going on here. I did this outside of the shower like I typically do, and I needed to use not one but 2 pumps of the product to really get it not just spread on my face but also around from my eye area. Now you'll notice here that I'm wearing a prominent lipstick color, which in my experience with this lipstick, it's the MAC Matte Chili shade. It's pretty tenacious. Like it's adherent and it's really tenacious. Like if it gets on a glass, you better come in there with like the Dawn Power Wash spray to get it off. So I wanted to use that, and I'm also wearing eyeliner, which is not something I regularly wear, but I have recently been wearing it more regularly. So I wanted to try it with the eyeliner with the really tenacious lipstick. And you can see that lipstick breaking up there with me just smearing this around my face. You can see the blush on my cheeks is smearing around and you can see the eye makeup is starting to break up. I will say that smearing this on a dry face as you would an oil cleanser, it does not glide over the skin surface as efficiently. So you need to use a bit more of the product in order to really get good coverage, and it's not as pleasurable an experience, but it can be done. I'm pointing that out because, like I said, one of the main reasons why I like using an oil cleanser or cleansing balm is how gentle it is on the lashes. Not really getting that experience with using a traditional face wash on the lashes, but it does glide relatively well over the lashes. And then I go over to the sink and I rinse it all off. There's still lipstick on my lips. Didn't completely remove all of that tenacious lipstick. There's also some eyeliner still left behind, maybe a little bit of mascara residue as well. So let's go in with a second step, an actual washing of the face. Now, again, normally I do this in the shower, but I'm not taking you guys in the shower. That's a very elaborate setup. So for efficiency's sake, we're just gonna do it at the sink. And so I do a regular face wash at the sink, and you can see the lipstick is gone, and you can see all of the face makeup is gone. All of the face makeup, like the blush, you can't see the sunscreen I was wearing, the water-resistant sunscreen I was wearing, but the blush, the tinted moisturizer, the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion, all of that has been gone since the first step. And the residue of the mascara, the eyeliner, that's pretty much gone. There is still a little bit remaining, but honestly, I think that's because I did it at the sink. And I think when I wash my face at the sink, when you rinse your skin, it's harder to get the water in like the concavities of the face, you know, the eyes. There's a lot of like crevices and things like that where just splashing water on your face, I feel like it doesn't really hit like the shower stream. So I believe if I had done that in the shower, it would have completely come off because, you know, I put my face under the shower head spray and it really just kicks everything off. Okay. Long story short, this method works. It works at least with this particular cleanser. So yes, you can do it. It can be done. If you're wearing water-resistant sunscreen, you want to give it a try, this might help. If you're wearing a lot of makeup, foundation, I suggest doing this approach if you don't want to use an oil cleanser or a cleansing balm. Because in my experience, for the most part, a single cleanse is just not enough to get makeup off. It's just not enough. You'll see visible residue on the skin. I'd be interested to try this approach with different facial cleansers because, like I said, I kind of cheated using the CeraVe oil to foam cleanser because it has a good track record in my hands of being really efficient at removing cosmetic residue. Like, I'd be interested in trying Cetaphil's gentle facial cleanser that's meant for people with like atopic dermatitis, really sensitive skin. It's a creamy cleanser. I remember I used that a lot in my pre-double cleansing days back when I wore makeup. I know when I started my channel, I wasn't wearing a lot of makeup, but historically in my past pre-YouTube life, I did wear quite a bit of makeup. And I remember I used Cetaphil's gentle cleanser a lot. And I remember not really being able to remove eye makeup with that alone. So I think back then I would use like a makeup remover, eye makeup remover, which I always hated, which brings me to the next point. There are some alternative approaches to makeup removal. For example, you could use a makeup wipe. If you use a makeup wipe, it kind of somewhat breaks up the cosmetic film and smears it all around. So you definitely need to follow it up with a facial cleanser. Not all makeup wipes are created equal, okay? Some of them are better than others. I don't have great luck with makeup wipes. I tend to use a makeup wipe more if I am playing around with makeup and it does not turn out the way that I might like and I need to get it off, but I don't want to invest the time in like completely removing all the makeup and washing my face. It's like way too much. So I'll use a makeup wipe in that setting, but I don't ever use makeup wipes to actually do skincare with, to actually cleanse my face with. But that is one way a lot of people use them. If you do use makeup wipes, I definitely suggest following up with a gentle cleanser for sure to remove that makeup wipe residue plus all of that stuff that is just kind of pushed around. The other approach that works out really well for many people, but not for me, is to use a micellar water. Micellar waters technically can be left behind fine on the skin. But a lot of people use them in a double cleanse fashion where they use them to break up the makeup and then they properly wash their face. The reason they don't end up working out for me is a lot of times I find that they don't really remove the eye makeup very efficiently. I find that I have to rub a lot with them, and I find that they often sting around my eyes. So I don't care for micellar waters. The only micellar water that has ever worked out well for me is the Bioderma one. I just personally prefer using a cleansing oil or cleansing balm. The other approach is to use a cleansing cream, like a cold cream. For example, Pond's cold cream you could use as a first step in a double cleanse. I've done that and I really like it. Pond's makes a fragrance-free cold cream that's really a pleasant experience to use because I don't know what the magic is with Pond's cold cream. It actually feels cold going on the skin, and it's really just a cream. Like what is the magic in Pond's that makes it somehow feel cold? I don't know, but I do like using that. I haven't used that in a long time, but that definitely works as a first step for removing makeup. So that's a great approach as well. But you do need to come in and properly wash your face because it's breaking up the film, and you can technically use like a washcloth and wipe it away, but you really want to get in there and properly wash your face. Then a lot of people will use like baby oil or petroleum jelly, Vaseline, or maybe an oil like coconut oil, a facial oil. And that can be helpful, but it doesn't have those products don't have emulsifiers in them, so it's not going to rinse off very efficiently. This approach was interesting. It was an interesting experiment. It did work, but moving forward, I will stick to the oil-based cleanser first. And by oil-based cleanser, I'm using that to refer to both cleansing oils and cleansing balm. A cleansing oil is just liquid and a cleansing balm is solid, but they do the same thing. And I have a ton that I have tried out over the years, and I pretty much like all of them, unless they have a really strong off-putting fragrance that is like ruins the experience. They pretty much are all good. Anyways, let me know what you think of this approach. Is it something that you have tried for yourself? I think for somebody who doesn't wear makeup, it might make sense to try this approach. But for me, I just personally enjoy the double cleansing with an oil-based product so much that yeah, I'm gonna keep doing me. I'm gonna keep doing what I have been doing because it's been working well for me. I see no reason to change, but I'm glad I experimented with this because I will come across people who claim like, I just use the same face wash twice, and I wanted to test that approach out and report back to you all. All right, guys, I really hope you found this video informative with regards to washing your face. Bet you didn't realize we could get this nitpicky and detailed about facial cleansing, but hey, it's a skincare channel. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.